tear is yet to abate because so many issues have arisen from that, and governor's effort at reconciling this appears not to have been yielding positive result. What exactly is going on?
How do you mean by government effort?
I mean the governor's effort,
no,
because I understand there was a meeting that was called by the governor, which some people boycotted. So you lead us into what exactly is happening.
I think we need to always try as much as possible, particularly as a media platform, for us to interrogate happenings within the polity and particularly political parties, so that we can deepen democracy and follow the rules and regulations of a democratic governance.
And that interrogation is what we're doing on the show this morning.
You see, why I'm saying this is because even the media has a right to take a position when you see certain things being done wrongly. Because you said suspension of. There's nothing like suspension.
Alleged suspension.
That is purported. It is purport. There's nothing has happened in Edo State, as far as I'm concerned. Because you see, you're talking about the governor. Now, here's a party that provided an umbrella for him when the APC reign was beating hell out of him. He was shown the exit door in APC. He ran to PDP. I remembered, I cautioned them that allow the PDP to seamlessly run its processes of electing a candidate of his own to run the governorship. Allow the governor who is coming to go to another party and test his popularity. PDP has always been a very strong party in Edo. When we were in APC as a government, they defeated us in 2015 election. They won 5 House of Rep members out of 9. They won 2 senators out of 3. So PDP has always been strong in Edo State. So it was convenient for the governor to latch onto that and use it as a vehicle. Fine. Now, when you are coming into a party of such, I raised alarm then, which was the reason why I didn't support him, and I supported the APC candidate, even though I'm a PDP member. And I said, you need to sit down on the table to negotiate positions. Because policy is all about constructive engagement, collective bargaining. If you are ceding governorship and deputy to APC or somebody who is coming, you are receiving a migrant into your party, you needed to sit down and say, the SSG to the government, this position, that position should go to the party you are coming to meet. Because if the party was not there, not sustained by factors and persons who you are now suspending, you won't have a platform to run to. Why didn't he choose AA? Why didn't he choose ABGA? Why didn't he choose ADP or any other party in the state? Why did he come to PDP? So if you are coming to PDP, that means you have seen fortune in that party. And by sheer providence and what have you, he won the election in 2020. 1 year later, he's just appointing 11 commissioners. All of them APC members who came with him. All. I didn't say one is left. Now,
they're still APC members, or they've
moved now, of course, if you
to
come,
PDP.
Yeah, they moved to PDP, but for God's sake.
Just to clarify.
For God's sake, they moved to PDP, but you know they call them a new PDP and old PDP. That's what they call it now. Even by their own admittance, they say they are the new PDP, the older PDP and the old PDP. But you see, you cannot come into a party and you want the structure of the party to be surrendered to you. One, congresses have been concluded before he joined the party. And those congresses have tenure. 4 years tenure. Just like the governor is elected to serve a 4-year tenure, the same way ward chairmen, ward executives, local government executives, local government chairman, state executive, state chairman, they have a tenure of 4 years guaranteed under the constitution of the PDP. So you cannot now say you have come, you want integration, and you say they should go and dissolve to accommodate your people. Whereas, on the one hand, you have appointed those your people you are talking about into governmental positions, leaving the people who are on ground. So what the OPDP have to grapple with is the party structure. And you can't expect somebody, if they tell the governor to resign, to allow somebody else to come and complete his tenure, will he allow that? It's a simple thing, just simple logic. People are elected, congresses are elected, were carried out in PDP. They are elected to serve 4-year tenure. You are now saying that they should dissolve it so that they can integrate your people.
Okay, so why, in your opinion, do you think that the governor made that decision? The decision to dissolve the existing structure in the state?
Yes, because he feels that he doesn't own the structure of the state. And you see, governors always want to put parties in their pockets. But the Edo PDP, as it is in this present scenario, is not the same like every other state.
Is there a current conflict, with the existing members of the PDP?
No.
And the governor?
You see, the PDP structures, as it were, Chairman Afegbua, Dr. Afegbua, and all the State Executive Council, they're at peace, united, like a solid, team. The local governments, the same. The world level, the same. There's no problem within that structure. What seems to be causing the problem is the one orchestrated by the government and the governor by trying to say that they must harmonize, whatever that word means, like telling people who are already holding position, who were elected to serve 4-year tenure, to voluntarily leave their position so that they can accommodate your own. And he's saying that, let me finish that thought. He's saying that Dan Obi, who was also valiantly elected at the Congress in Port Harcourt, is the one who is causing the problem. How? He was elected to serve 4-year term. Dan Obi was elected to serve 4-year term as the vice chairman, South. And don't forget that this same Dan Obi that is suspending was the one who piloted the campaign when Governor Obaseki'S joined the party, went around the 192 wards with him, did everything. In fact, in Edo State, when I was in APC, when we were in government, Dan Obi was able to sustain strong opposition as state chairman of the PDP. He put us on our toes as a government. But for Dan Obi criticism, perhaps Oshimole may not have been able to achieve the much he did, because anytime we are discussing policy issues, we always factor in the PDP criticism point of view. And so that is how a democracy should exist. That is how a democracy should run, for you to put government in power on their toes so that they can deliver on their promise to the people.
All right, Kasim, you were in the PDP, but you didn't campaign for the governor, Obaseki.
Of course, because I saw this happen.
All right. You presume this will happen.
Not that I presume.
Because the election had not happened at the time. That's your instinct. Yeah. Now, is it possible that the people who are holding the party structure that you talked about, the elected officers, aren't given the governor the maximum support he deserves or he wants to have from them? Probably that's why he's asking for the dissolution. What? Because if you did not even support the governor during the elections, it's obvious that you are also not supporting him at this point, and many people may also be on your side.
It is the duty of a governor of a state and a president of a country to reach out to people who you think can add value to your governance process. You don't have to sit back like one imperial majesty and think that you want to be dishing out instructions. No. Leadership and governance is all about constructive engagement. You need to think outside the box as a government. If you want to deliver, on your promise, you look for the change agents that can make that happen. And in doing that, you reach out to the person you think that, if it is the party, what does it take the governor to say, okay, what is the hierarchy of the party in the state? The national vice chairman is #1 citizen of the party within the zone. If you have a deputy chairman from the south, it becomes the #1 citizen of the party in the entire south. But in the south, the highest position is the national vice chairman representing south. That means he's taking care of 6 states. And because he's from Edo State, he will naturally be concerned with what is happening within his domain. Now, after winning election, the governor has no business waiting for 10, 11 months before we are appointing 11 commissioners. The process of integration ought to have been communicated to the party chairman, and the party chairman will rally around his state executive. How come these meetings the governors had, this so-called meeting he had, the state executive committee members were not invited. The local government executive members were not invited. The ward executives were not invited for this meeting. They said they suspended.
Were not invited, or they boycotted, because the reports have it that they boycotted.
Invited. At any rate, I wrote in today's New Telegraph, if you look at the back page, I said, Dan Obi, Obaseki, and the Edo disease. Those who migrated from APC to PDP have just brought their disease to fester in PDP, because PDP has always been a united party in Edo State. That's why till date they have 2 senators out of 3, they have 4 House of Rep members out of 9. And they have just imported, their disease. What happened in APC, that people were shouting all of that, blackmail upon blackmail, and before you say Jack Robinson, former APC chairman was exited, was humbled out of power, and people were now thinking that, it was too harsh on Governor Obaseki, and Obaseki came to PDP, and the PDP leadership embraced him. Now, he's already showing the color. So Nigerians, and particularly Edo people, are beginning to see that the problem is actually the governor and not other factors. Okay, because it is the responsibility of the governor to rally around people so that he can deliver on his electoral promises.
Kasim, let's play the devil's advocate here, because, people will always have their differences in politics. We've always known that politics is most of the time based on interest. People's interests, differ in politics, and we see this, sometimes conflict coming out, among politicians, and also we see it sometimes being resolved. You said that you knew that this was going to happen. And that was why you didn't support the governor. Like Nkoli said, a lot of other people might not have also supported the governor. But like it or not, the governor now is your party's flag bearer in Edo State, and now the governor of Edo State, and still has at least 3 years in that state as governor. What are you doing as a party chieftain in Edo State to actually find a way of harmonizing these two new and old PDP, these factions, to make governance easier in Edo State?
When you say harmonizing, how do you mean? You mean those who were validly elected into office to serve 4-year term should on their own voluntarily resign?
That's not my point.
That is the harmonization the governor is saying.
No, but in your own words of what you understand harmonization to be, you have stated that there are 2 factions. There are those who came from the APC, and there are those who are original PDP members. I am saying that as it is now, both belong to one party under the governor of the state. So how can these 2 people, these 2 sets of people, work together to help both the party and the government of the state?
Nice. If it is working together, the governor will have to come, because he is the one who is going to discharge the responsibility of governance. He has to come, try to embrace people, but not to the point of saying dissolve the state ESCO or local government ESCO or ward ESCO to accommodate. They know what is wrong if those who came with him, what is wrong if they are members and they try to be members and respectful members. What is wrong with that? Why must we always think that you must get your person involved? At any rate, the governor is already representing them as the governor of the state. The deputy governor is there, the SSG is there, the chief of staff is there, the special advisor is there, all becoming APC members. You see, I think we need to get one thing clear. I am not going to subscribe to a scenario where a governor of a state will think that he has to lord himself over the state. And just like I said in my article today, I said, when you come into a house, you are a tenant who has just come. Now the people who ran that party, who strengthened that party, who made that party important, for you to consider it worthy of a platform to use when rain was beating you in APC, you must accord them some respect. Please. Leadership is not a haphazard indulgence. Leadership is a planned and organized indulgence. You must accord them respect. But just like our people often say, in local parlance, they say, no matter how nice you are to a goat, he must eat your yam. A goat will not see your yam and say he will not eat it. Now we are seeing the disease of the APC imported into PDP and trying to alter the apple cart of APC leadership and unity as it were before now.
Now, Kasim,
I'm sure you never heard that PDP was having crisis before now until this time around.
Kasim, you were once in APC, so that means you are probably carrying the disease of the APC as well.
No, I'm not fighting in PDP to alter arrangement. I'm not an executive member. I'm just an ordinary member. And I like to be an ordinary member. When I have issues, I took up the party leadership at the national headquarters. I raise concerns as a member. I have a duty to interrogate processes in my district. But I didn't tell anybody to resign so that I can become the publicity secretary of the state in Edo. Because these are tenure positions captured in the constitution of the party. Will it be right if I said the governor should resign so that somebody else will come and take over his position?
All right, let me take you back to what the reasons for which Chief Obi was said to have been suspended or purportedly suspended, like you
yes.
talked about.
I like that one.
you like it. All right. So the people call themselves leaders of Edo North that did the suspension in the first place, and then another group that says they are leaders of Edo State PDP have also come to ratify that position. Now, their position, or rather why they suspended Chief Obi, according to them, is that they are accusing him of frustrating the efforts of the governor to harmonize the party by leading the other suspended persons, because he's not the only one they suspended, or they purportedly suspended, to boycott a recent stakeholders meeting called by the governor. Why I'm bringing this question is to refer you back to what you said, that they were not invited.
No. There are two things at play. You have to get the issue right. The governor, I was told, called for a 300-member stakeholders conference. In a state where you have to forcefully implement COVID-19 protocol, yet you assemble 300 persons in a hall, in the name of party meeting or stakeholders meeting. You extended invitation to party members, both old and young. Fine. Some didn't come, some came. You discussed with them, you interacted with them. But if he were to be a sensible governor, and I say this advisedly, he ought to have looked at the critical stakeholders of the party in the state, to call them, say, please come. Don't run a one-man show and think that you can swallow a party like PDP in Edo or elsewhere. And call them and say, please, I want us to, not that you will be doing as if you are one magisterial authority. I want us to hold a meeting of stakeholders. Let us discuss with our people so that we see how to move the party forward and the government. I'm trying to form a cabinet. He didn't do that. He dished out letters and invited people, over 300, according to reports, and they came to government house. Now, some boycotted. The local government chairman, the ward executives, and all of that. Now, the next thing to do, if you were to be in his shoes, will it be to start the process of, say, you are suspending the #1 APC officer in the entire zone, who is from Edo? Will that be the right thing? Or even a House of Rep member, Ogbede Hama, who was the front runner for the governorship in 2020, will it be the right thing to do? Or the state secretary of the party, you say you suspend them. Who are those suspending them? The constitution of the PDP is very clear on procedures to follow with respect to suspension. When an issue is raised against you, you are to write to the individual involved. When you write to the individual involved, you now, allow the person, you raise your queries, allow the person to respond, either by you setting up a disciplinary committee comprising of 7 members, so that the person will come and be given a fair hearing. You listen to him either by writing or by his representative, who may be a lawyer or otherwise. By the time you listen to them, you now report back to the state executive committee of the party in the state. At any rate, from the ward level, if your registration is from the ward level, your suspension will have to be from the ward level. But we have not heard that Dan Obi's ward executives have any problem with him. We have not heard that the local government executives of the party have problem with him. It's like myself, when they said they suspended me from the party, the state chairman, because of taking up Uche Secondus. They review it and saw that my ward executive were at peace with me. They even had a meeting, issue a statement, a communique to that effect that no, nothing like that was discussed in our meeting. The local government issued another letter, then which vacated that. So when you follow this process, you will now, the state executive committee will now forward your recommendations to it, which will now forward to national. Before you say you are suspending somebody, you can't just sit down. You choose individuals who are APC migrants into PDP, and you call a meeting. You say, they were raising a motion, moving a motion, suspending people who are legitimate funders, of the PDP in Edo State.
All right.